Okay, cool. How are you guys? Hi, everybody. Welcome to All About the Joy. Cynthia's in the house. Rick Costa. I think we did our intro correctly. Woo! Okay, I'm having issues though because I need us to flip. I need to move you over. Ooh, I was having issues right there. Okay. Cynthia, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. I love your hair out. I was saying that earlier in the green room that I know you don't love wearing your hair out. I don't know why.
Well, today's a little messy. Like even my coworker was like, "Are you okay? You look a little frazzled."
Really? The first thing I thought was I like it.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Hey, Melanie, how are you? Hi, Melanie.
Hey, Mel.
That's exactly right, Rick. I always say that. Like, I love when she wears her hair out. Now, I'm the opposite. I like my hair to be like this big. Cynthia hates when my hair is, because she's seen, and people at work this week have seen my hair because it was like out like this. But I always take a shower and my hair's like half wet or whatever. But I like it bigger, like as big as possible. Like you can hide things in it. You know what I mean? Like,
that was like in the 80s. Remember the 80s? Everybody had their hair ginormous. Woo.
If you saw me this past week at work, I tame it down here so I can be, a little conservative. But yeah. Rick, how are you doing? How was your week?
Doing good. I actually got mom to bed earlier this time, so I was more relaxed coming to the broadcast. Like, okay, we can relax and chill and not be trying to hurry up.
I just feel bad. I appreciate you because you always come on the show, and I know that's a tricky time for you. So thank you so much for doing that. And I'm also going to say this, and I know I'm a little embarrassed, but I cannot believe people keep buying stuff from our store.
Yay!
Today, I don't know who bought stuff today. So I did get an inquiry from somebody. I know Rick is all about the joy everywhere on his thing. You're so beautiful. Thank you. I don't have your addresses. I don't get any of that information. Somebody asked if I can see their address and their credit card. It's going through a third party. So please know everything you do is secure, whatever. All I get is the amount of things that people bought. So I know today we sold 2 V-neck T-shirts, and then they tell me when it's going to ship and the percentage and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted everyone to know that. But thank you for supporting the show. And it is a cool logo anyways, all about the joy. It's a cool saying. And I'm thrown. So thank you so much. Yay.
Yeah. I think on my site, the one that I use, all I see is their email address. That's it. That's all I can see.
Yeah, but don't you get information of what you've sold? Because that's what I don't even get an email address.
I'm saying any personal information, all I see is their email, and that's it. I don't see
your address. What? I don't even get an email.
Oh.
I don't get an email, but if I log in, I can see so-and-so email, their email address, and they ordered blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's cool. You know what? I told you, I haven't even set up I shouldn't say this, but I haven't even set up, I haven't set up the bank thing to transfer the money over. So the money's still sitting over. So maybe that's when I get that. Why do you need the email?
I guess to thank them. You can always send them a little personal thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything nefarious about it. This is just my first time doing this or whatever. But I just get an email that says, you've sold 2 more shirts and this is when it'll ship and this is what your percentage or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yay!
Melanie! Yay!
Why are we yaying for the audio people?
Because Melanie, our favorite, most important, wonderful, fabulous person who's always on our show, always comes in and supports the show. I got her a mug and then she bought a T-shirt because we wanted to say thank you in a nice, kind way, but she also bought a T-shirt from us. And we just appreciate you. Thank you so much, Melanie. That's so funny. I love that. Yay. It is a cool mug. And I hope to have more sayings and more things in the future. Again, it's all about time. But yeah, someone has warned me that Christmas is coming up and I should have mugs with different colors and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, this took me 9 months to set up. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine doing new mugs.
Very slow.
Very slow.
Now that you say that, for Christmas time, I think the one thing that people do get for Christmas from my store is mugs.
Yeah. And All About the Joy is a cool mug to give people. If you could get different colors, I totally get it. And I would love to do it. And I'm thinking about it. I'm just going to be honest, not sure it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, unless some really cool benefactor jumps in and I will pay you your salary and all you have to do is worry about All About the Joy, which is the dream. Oh, look at Melanie's over here designing. I think we need Melanie. Melanie's in the chat telling us we need to do a green mug with red lettering.
For Christmas.
Actually, that would be cool.
And for our Hanukkah people, it could be the white mug with blue lettering.
Okay. So I see we have Cynthia and Melanie as designers.
Okay.
Have
now, what about Kwanzaa if we're going to go crazy? Just kidding.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Anyway, you might just have to get the regular mug. All About the Joy this year might just be the simple regular mug. No, I get it. We'd like to expand. We'll think about it. We'll see.
Put a candy cane in there.
Yeah. It's allaboutthejoy.com. The store is on the website. Check it out. Support the show. We really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I want to see if I can show this TikTok video that spurred my wanting to talk about this subject. For those of you who have very sensitive ears and don't like bad words, this is your warning. He says very bad words. Okay. But it is what spurred what the conversation is going to be about today. And
hide your kids.
Hide your children. He says like the F word. He does say the N word too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Just giving you all the heads up. And it's Dion Cole. You guys will. Cynthia, I think I was with you when you came here to visit, you and Juan. And I think this is who you saw get out of the Bentley. And I think you were like, oh, I think he's famous. I'm not sure, but it's Dion Cole. He's from Blackish. Okay, let me see if I can do this.
Oh, he got like that deep voice.
You're going to see him.
Oh, I know who that is.
It's 30 seconds. Now, let's see if I can do this. I think I'm all
You got this. You got this.
All right, here we go.
Please, yeah.
Young women that's in here, do a lot of older men hit on you? Yes? Here's a very smooth way to get an older man off you. Real smooth, all right? Next time an older dude come on you and be like, hey, sweet thing, how you doing, baby? All you gotta say is, I'm okay, mister. Shut down the whole operation. Mister, the fuck? Nah, baby, don't do that to me. No, don't do that to me. My name Gregory. Call me Gregory. Okay, Mr. Gregory. You're just stupid. You're just stupid, bitch. Why would you...
It made me think of The Color Purple with Mr.
Oh my God. Isn't that hilarious?
That's funny.
That's awesome.
So it made me start thinking about aging because these words, it made me start thinking about it because I used to get really upset when people would say ma'am to me as I was getting older. That's how you know you're turning a corner. You know what I mean? You're turning a corner. So people start saying ma'am. Now, one of my favorite clients, and this is true, she knows she's my favorite client. She knows it. She's from Texas. And her children, when I first met them, if I'm ever at the home office, when I first met them, they would come in the room and they call me Miss Carmen. And I'd be like, oh, you could just call me Carmen. And they always say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They're that Southern politeness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, just call me Carmen. You don't have to call me. And she came running in. I mean, she like knocked over stuff. She's She's Carmen. Saying ma'am is the proper way. That is a thing of respect. That is an honor. You're their elder. That's what we do. That's how we do things. You need to see it more as and we had this whole conversation. And I started thinking about ma'am being like queen. You know what I mean? Being something that isn't, because we always associate it with being old as opposed to being a thing of respect and honor. You know what I mean? So it changed my mind about that. But anyways, I sent you guys some questions about aging, and that's where it came from. Wasn't that funny, Mr.?
I remember in church, like I would sometimes have to deal with kids and stuff. I have kids church stuff or whatever. And I'm like, and here's Mr. Rick. And I'm like, Mr. Why you make me old? Like, it just felt weird, but you get over it. I
think if you switch your mind, Mr. and Miss don't bother me as much. But when you get called ma'am, I don't know about you, Cynthia, but being called ma'am is like, I think, gray-haired old lady and decrepit and whatever. You know what I mean? I was like, we don't need to be all like that. But
that's
now
just like in Spanish when you say doña.
Doña, like, yeah. Ooh, that might hurt if somebody said it in Spanish. I need time. I just got through the madam thing. You know what I mean?
That would definitely hit a whole other way.
That's a whole other. Did someone say doña to you?
Oh, one person did. And I was like, oh, I was like, what?
How old were they though? Like 6?
No, they were younger than me, but the reason why they said it because they were like, but you're married now. And I said, yes, I'm married, but I'm not that old.
Well, see, here's the thing. Her kids at the time, they're still pretty young, but they were like 5 and 6. So it's okay. But I will admit to an embarrassing situation where I was in the grocery store, always in the grocery store. My eyes are always wandering too, by the way. Always looking at the fireman in the grocery store. You know what I mean? And I was checking out this fine boy. He was so good looking. And I was like, damn. And his body and everything, whatever. And he like passed by me or whatever. And he's, oh, excuse me, ma'am. And I was like, ma'am. That brother ain't looking at me at all. He's like looking through you. You know what I mean? So the age matters. Like a guy in his 30s calling me ma'am is so much different than a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah.
So Melanie is asking, she says, that sounds bad. What is it? Are you asking about the word doña?
Oh, doña. Yes, Cynthia, sorry.
Doña is like saying
ma'am.
Señora in Spanish.
Yeah.
But it's for, say, for instance, you would say Señora to your mom, but to your grandparent, you would say Doña. It's like a ranking,
very
basically.
Very formal, elders.
Yeah.
It's like ma'am, but ma'am is like for everybody.
Right.
Doña is for the old elite.
Yeah, I was going to say Doña for me feels even older.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's just wrong. Okay. Yeah. This might not be a good subject. I'm feeling really old right now. You know what I mean? But the first question was, what are some things that make you feel old? So I think we talked about some of those. But Cynthia, do you have another one? You said you did your homework, girl.
Oh, yes. Back pains and joint pains.
Yeah, you were starting to tell me in the green room. What happened?
Oh my God. So lately I've been having a pain in my right knee, like going up and down stairs because I've been trying to do the stairs more. And man, I always have to hold on to the railing because I feel like it's going to buckle and I'm just going to go flying down the stairs.
Is that like a new thing or is that something you've always... Is that a new thing?
It's probably been like that for about a month or so now. Yeah.
Rick, what about you?
I mean, that too, for me, like the body ain't what it used to be. That's for sure. Like I hurt my right knee, as we all know, like from a while back from the stupid wasp incident. But then the other day, my left knee hurt. And I was like, wait, I didn't hurt that knee. Why is this knee hurting? Like, I don't like this.
Because you're putting pressure on your other knee while you're trying to heal the first knee that got hurt by the wasps.
I guess so.
And again, I just need to say, if you ever encounter more than one flying thing in your car, I'm just saying, it's probably a nest somewhere. Just gonna throw that out there. Like,
okay.
I thought when you told the story, it was just one.
Nope, it was a swarm. I will say, let's see what Melanie said.
Melanie just said, scrolling for the year you were born on an online application is not bad. Oh, I know what you mean. Trying to like add yourself to something and they're like, and it's like 1990, 1980, you're like 1970, scroll. It's weird. That is a big one. Yes. Oh my God.
Sympathy pain.
Oh, Linda said sympathy pain, Rick. Yeah. Rick, is your knee the big problem now, the other knee, or are you feeling better?
No. It was just a one-time thing. It's pretty much better, the right knee. It's just once in a while if I twist it a little bit weird, I'm like, ooh, yeah, there it is again. But it's pretty much better. I could do everything. I could walk, I could lift things, I could do everything. Up and down. Stairs was the worst thing, but I'm fine now. But the other thing I was going to say was when kids are talking about stuff and I ain't got a clue what they're talking about. And I'm like, what is you even talking about? They're like, ooh, you so old. You don't even know this. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or if I say something like, oh, I remember when I recorded that on my VCR. What's a VCR? Like,
that's so weird. Okay, I will admit something that happened today. It wasn't today. It was yesterday. There was everyone knows I love George Michael. Don't even talk about George Michael because it'll be over. I will fly wherever you are and slap you upside the head. It's George Michael, Prince, and Freddie Mercury, Aretha, and Whitney. Those are my people. Okay, so I throw that in there. But Jonas Brothers or somebody Jonas, did a cover of Careless Whisper. And I'm so sorry, horrible. And I was like, who is this Jonas person? Like the looks I got from people in the office was like, what? I'm like, I don't know who this Jonas person is, but this is a horrible rendition of Careless Whisper. I don't care. Do not be messing with my. And that's when I feel old because I realize I guess I should know who Jonas is.
It's three brothers. Yeah. The Jonas Brothers.
Clearly, I'm older than both of you. I don't even know who they are.
Not by much.
Is there a song I would know?
That I can't tell you because I don't really listen.
I can't even think of the song right now.
But they're like a band, like a boy band and whatever.
Yeah,
together and solo. Yeah, they do together. They do solo. I think they started off with kid shows, like a Nickelodeon thing. Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. This show is definitely sponsored by AAR.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, I don't have no. Okay, what makes you feel young?
Me, it's keeping up with all the musicians and shows that these kids watch, and I actually know what they're talking about.
That keeps you young?
I think so.
Okay. What do you mean? Like knowing who the Jonas Brothers is? What? Okay, I'm saying it wrong. It's like when people say the Facebook, right? You're like,
oh God, yeah.
Not the Facebook. Right. Okay, how do you say it? You don't say the Jonas?
It's Jonas Brothers.
Oh, just Jonas Brothers. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. And you guys can't name one hit song, so clearly they're really good.
That's not my thing, so.
That damn song is in my head though. That other song of "Gonna Shake, 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 Shake," whatever the Taylor Swift song. That's on every meme on TikTok now. Shake it off, shake it off. I don't think I've ever heard a song from Taylor Swift. I can't get that one out of my head. Melanie's, I even know the Jonas Brothers are a boy band. Don't ask me to name a song. No, okay, well, all right, Melanie.
We don't know who they are. We can't say what the songs are though.
I can't help you. Rick, what makes you feel young?
I think I'm going to say similar to what Cynthia said. Like when I know stuff that other people just, you don't know that? It makes me feel like I'm in the know. And are you old? Why you don't know that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that makes me feel young. I'll be honest with you. I was just telling Cynthia when we were in the green room that one of the things that's bumming me out is everyone knows I like to work out, or I used to. Now I can't seem to get myself together to do it consistently. But I've always had like my arms, I work out with my arms, whatever, and they always look good. But now I can't even lift. I can't lift because of my wrist. I'm having issues. You know what I mean?
Right. So
I'm feeling really old with that. I used to feel really young because I would feel like I could beat most people running. You know what I mean? And so now I don't have that right now either. And I'm wearing a brace and I'm like, it's just all a mess. So I don't know if there's anything that's making me feel really young lately.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Maybe when I go get my Botox and then I'm like, oh my God. I don't know. That's when I feel really young. But yeah, no, I don't have anything else. How old do you actually feel?
Ooh.
If you had to give it a number.
Depends on if you mean physically or mentally. It's two different
things.
Both. Let's go with both.
All right, go ahead, Cindy.
Physically, I probably feel like I'm in like 70s or 80s. Mentally, I feel like I'm in my like late 20s, early 30s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Rick?
Physically, let's say I'll give it a number. I don't know, probably what I am, to be honest with you. Physically. Mentally, I'm still a kid. I never grew up. I'm a Toys R Us kid, I guess, kind of thing.
God, why are we all opposite today? I feel it's like you against me. Like both of you against me. I'm like the opposite. I will say this. I feel, even though I'm not fit as I was before, I'm not. And I could certainly lose 20 pounds easily. I have never loved my body and my presence more. I know that's weird, but I've never been more comfortable with my skin, with my body. Like, it's like you don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. This is it. This is it right here. That's all I got. I ain't got nothing. Like, I'm not stressed about it anymore.
That's good.
Now, I'll be honest. I've never really been stressed about my body or my weight, but it was always because I was being compared to white women that I danced with, which I could never compete with that. So it was not an issue. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't an issue because, I mean, it could have been, but it wasn't for me. But I think that's kind of one of the things that's really interesting. And then in my head, I feel like you were saying mentally, I feel like I am, and this people gonna be like, oh, please, Carmen. But I feel like I have such wisdom now. Like, I handle things better. Like, I don't have these temper tantrums. Like, I remember when I was younger, like if somebody would do something that I hated, or if somebody hurt somebody else, I would, I'd behave correctly in the presence of other people. But then I would have like a fit. I would cry. I would be so upset. I've had like in my room or whatever by myself. I'd be freaking out. And now things don't bother me anymore. So Melanie just said, mentally, I'm in my 20s, physically 40-ish. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like I'm the reverse, and I'm not trying to be controversial. I really was thinking about this. I just feel like I wouldn't want to go back to my 20s. I've said this before. I want to see how the hell this ends. I want to see how this path goes. I have worked too hard, way too hard.
When I was young, I remember people saying to me, though, like that I have an old soul because the things that kids would be like all excited about, I'm like, yeah, that's boring to me.
We tell all children that, though. You know that, right? I'm sorry. Rick, you do. You have an old soul. I don't even know what that means, but we tell all kids this, right?
Okay.
I do. What does it mean to have an old soul?
Like, you probably have a conversation with old people and it's like normal. It's not even weird. It would be like, even though you're a child, you're having a deep conversation with old people as if you're old too. Okay.
I wasn't there when you were younger, so I don't know. I'm not trying to diss you. I'm just saying I've said that so many times to all my nieces and nephews, and it's all bullshit. Like from my mouth to them. Like, because I'll be like, you know what? You are so mature. You're like an old soul. You could handle this better, baby. See? That's the way I was working through some issues with my children. Oh, speaking of kids, isn't it Emily's birthday today?
It is.
Today is Emily's birthday. Emily Harris. Happy birthday. Oh, no. What's her last name? It's not Harris.
Pinto.
Emily Pinto's birthday today. So happy birthday to her if she watches the show. I did send her a text this morning. Before Cynthia's all like, whatever. Okay. So now do you feel like if you were talking to a 15-year-old today, Rick, what would you tell them about what aging is like? What would you say to them?
Well, one thing I always said, and a lot of them would argue with me, is the more you know, the more you find out you don't know.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, that sounds so stupid. Like, literally have people argue with me. That sounds so stupid. I'm like, you ain't there yet. You'll figure it out. But it's true. The more you know, you like, wow, I don't really know as much as I like. Because we all think we're so smart when we're teenagers.
Ooh, for
like,
real, though.
Ma, you don't understand. Dad, yeah, because they were never teenagers. Come on.
For real.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'd be like, really, seriously, you don't know everything. You think a lot, but you really don't.
They're not going to believe you either.
No, they're not. They're not. They got to learn the hard way. You know?
I want to share what Melanie just said. She said, who says to younger people when I was your age? Oh my God. I try never to say that, but I've said it so many times.
Everybody says it.
And isn't it weird when you catch yourself because you remember that's what grownups used to say, and now you're saying it and you like, oh, that's not what I meant to say, but it is what I meant to say because you're not going to understand.
Yeah.
Melanie says what keeps me young is keeping up with technology. Okay, that's good. I was just yelling at Rick in the green room because he was acting like I didn't know what the VPN was. I'm like, but yeah, that's a good one. I think a lot of people, and I say this about people I love in my life who are older, who think it's funny to call themselves, is it Ludwigs? Is that what you say when you're somebody who doesn't know how to use computers? You're not up with technology? I think it's called Ludwig or whatever. Alden says it all the time about himself. They think it's funny. And I'm like, I actually don't think that's a funny thing. You should be keeping up with technology to the best of your ability. One of my clients, their grandmother is 101. This year just turned 101. Child, she always on her phone, texting people. I'm like 101. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I crack up when people at work be like, "What's your fax number?" I'm like, "Are you for real? Fax?
Why do we still have faxes though?
I don't know.
I
Email
love
is
it
so
when
much easier."
people are like, "What's a fax machine?"
Yeah. Then I
know.
heard about these blowing up pagers. I'm like, there's still pagers out there? I
Who
didn't
has
know there were.
pagers?
That's what I'm saying. Did you hear about the whole in the Middle East, a whole blowing
Oh
up
yeah, I heard
pager
about
thing?
that. Yeah.
I'm like, we still got pagers? People still use these things?
Well, I
Both
mean, doctors
Apple
still
and
use them.
Android. I'm sorry, Cynthia?
Doctors still use pagers.
That makes sense to me though, because they can't
'cause they're
pick
on
up the
call.
phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're on call, I guess.
Melanie just said, oh, because Melanie's comfortable with both Apple and Android. I got you. Yeah. Apple and Android are just, I'm not a big Apple person, but it's just funny how Apple people get so indignant. And it's like Coke and Pepsi, really not a big deal to me. Like, whatever. But that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the other thing about, like, whenever I tell Gen Z anything, I feel that they smirk because they're doing that thing like what you were saying, Ricky. Yeah, okay, whatever, old person, you don't really know, but I'm gonna listen to you and pretend I'm giving you respect, but I'm really not. That's the thing that makes me feel old, I would say. You know what I mean? Because I know that they're doing the thing that because they do think they know more than we do. Like we weren't ever their age. Right. And now what I realize is I just don't say nothing now. I just wait because it's going to happen. You're going to figure it out. And you've chosen to figure it out the hard way, because all I need is to be disrespected once and then we're done. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out. I ain't got no children for a reason, baby. That's one of them.
Yeah. Like I used to say to my son, you don't know how lucky you are because you have the internet. You can just look up literally anything. I had to go find it in an encyclopedia. What's an encyclopedia? Oh.
But see, our parents used to say the other things too, right? You don't know how easy you have it. I used to have to walk 5 miles to school or whatever it is.
To the library.
But we're doing the same thing. It's just every generation does this. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
Yeah. How does age work for you in the workplace? Oh, wait. I didn't ask Cynthia about what would you tell someone who's 50.
Oh, a Gen X now? About getting old.
Well, they're Gen Z. You're Gen X. They're Gen Z.
Oh, sorry. About getting old, that when you're in your 30s, your body's going to start to give you warning signs.
Really?
Yeah. You're going to start feeling little things here and there. And then once you hit 40, that's when you start feeling the pain.
Okay, wait, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we maybe say for some people?
For some, I guess.
For some people, I'm just saying. Well, because I think it's going to be different for. I think there are some things that definitely happen to all people, men and women. Wrinkles happen; they're going to happen. Live with it. Sagging things happen. Things start to sag that never sagged before. You know what I mean? Like that's gravity. You know, like whatever. But I gotta be quiet because I know I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, my knees, my back.
That's funny.
I mean, not jinx it. Actually, what Cynthia just said, absolute truth. Yes, that's exactly. I'm not gonna say a word. I'm not gonna say a word.
And there's not a lot that we can do about it. You could try to be fit and exercise and all that, but outside of that, what can you do?
No, but that's a good thing. So here's what I want to do, because I think this is really an important part of it too. I think we've also been socialized to believe that aging is bad and aging is decrepit and declining. And so this is going to sound like I'm, again, so full of wisdom. But I think because there was a time I didn't think I'd see my next birthday. I love my birthday. I make a big deal out of my birthday every year because I see it like another year accomplished, right? Most of my friends are always like, oh, don't remind me. I don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to get older because we see it as some negative thing. And I always saw it the opposite, like, wow, I made it another year. And I think that's also what made me so excited, because I remember when I was little, thinking about like my dream. It's still my dream today. I want to be like 65, 70, sitting on my porch of my beautiful ranch house after being so successful. I better get on this shit quick. being able to look out at all the land I own.
TikTok.
I know, but this is what I'm saying, right? Like,
you gotta start making those cups in other colors.
Like, I'm gonna be at work and ceramic and shit, doing it myself, painting. But it's true. Like, I've always had that dream that I wanted to see myself get older, and I think a lot of it is because my mother didn't make it. You know what I mean? I never saw my mother get older. And I realized as I got older that she was so young. You start to realize how young she was when she passed away. So I think that for me has worked in my favor in that I get excited about getting older. But I get it because it is a change. But I want to put a spin on it to see if we can't make it a more positive thing. So what is a positive thing about aging?
I was thinking about this today. It wasn't even anything to do with the whole topic. I already knew, but I think it makes me feel like privileged to still be here because there's a lot of people that are younger than me that just died, that have died. Family members. My cousin was 34. I was 33 and she died from cancer. And I thought, because here in my mind, I'm like, we gonna grow old. Your kids gonna play with my kids and they're gonna have kids and they're gonna play together. And I was like, nope, none of that's happening now. So, wow, it's like a privilege. I don't take life for granted because we don't have an expiration date. We don't know. Healthy people, not to be morbid, but healthy people could just drop dead. Healthy athletes. So I think it's a privilege. Promised. It's not. It's a privilege that we're still here. So,
I love that.
Yeah, I don't take it for granted because we don't know when our time is up. Nobody knows. So it's a privilege if you're still here. Use the time you have and don't waste it. I was telling my friend yesterday because right now he's unemployed. And I was like, I really could kick myself. There was a time where I didn't work for quite a while. I was unemployment. And now I look back and I'm like, you could have did so much. And
but don't do that. That's not fair. That's not fair to do that.
No, but I'm just saying like time is so valuable. Like we need to understand that. Do what you can when you can. I
agree with you. But what I don't want to do, because I think this is the lie we tell ourselves, you do the best you can when you're in that moment. You do the best you can with what you have in front of you. Being unemployed sucks. I don't care how much time it gives you. It's hard not to have a paycheck. It's hard not to know how you're going to pay the bills, feed somebody, take care of stuff. I don't want us to then romanticize like, oh my God, I should have built a business when I was unemployed. That makes no sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I had so much time. I should have done. No, you were probably sad, depressed, whatever. That's why I'm going to stop. That's why I'm shutting
But the lesson is if that ever happens again, now I know better.
And depending on the circumstances, because if you were unemployed and you didn't know if you'd be able to make your next mortgage or food on the table, I don't know how up you'd be to like, you know what? I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna do this. Maybe you would. I don't know. But I don't do well when I'm sad and depressed. I just don't. I know there are people out there, a lot of artists who are like, they're alcoholics, they're in and out of rehab, and they're like creating artwork and it becomes amazing. But I'm not that person. I need things to be okay for me to be able to create stuff. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a pass. I don't want, unemployment sucks. And so I want the best for your friend to get another job or to get a blessing of a lot of money from somewhere to stabilize. Now that's what I'm going to pray for you. I want you to get a lot of money so you don't have to work. So then you could go do all the things you want to do during your free time that you now have. See, you got to be very specific with the Lord. That's what I remember. You don't want to say, you know what, God, next time I'm unemployed, he might only hear that part.
Yeah. Well, I do believe being specific is important.
Being very specific. How does age work for you guys in the workplace? I'll start with this one. I'm going to start with this one. Let me tell you something. And this, I know I'm going to be in my 70s and 80s, God willing, if I am blessed to live that long, okay? My experience is right now that people who are not keeping up with what is going on, like Melanie said, with technology or whatever, if you are not going to keep up with what's going on in the world and in technology, then you're not going to make it in the workplace. You're just not.
Yeah.
I am happy to retire as soon as motherfucking possible. So I don't care. Like, if I have the money, I'm not going to work. I'm good. I live a very simple life. Like, I don't. But there are people that keep working for my clients, and my clients are very loyal. I work with very good people, no matter how much I complain about them on this show, especially. But I don't work with people I don't like. But they have people that they've worked with for 30, 35 years. And I'm like, okay, as much as I appreciate you've had this landscaper for 35 years, okay, the reason why the lawn isn't getting mowed is because he can't get on the tractor, whatever it is. Whatever it is. So either suck it up and be okay with it, because then we have to hire somebody else. Like, I don't, or fire them and let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your choices, but you can't keep complaining about it to me. And one of my clients is really mad at me. I'm like, I don't care. I'm done. I don't care. Fire them. Like,
Right.
or pay them and just be okay with it and hire somebody else. Like, you have choices.
Mm-hmm.
As they say, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result.
Go ahead. Isn't that Einstein?
I can't remember.
That is Einstein. Yes, that he is. Yes, that is the definition of insanity. I'm going to bring that up. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to bring that up. Because I'm going to cut the check every time. I'm going to cut that check. You're going to sign it. And then I have to listen to 35 minutes as to why we have to then hire somebody else to come in and actually do the work.
Yeah.
Or, oh my God, you could mow the lawn yourself. Like, oh my God.
That's always an option.
There are so many options. So weird. Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying, I think in the workplace, that's my issue with age. And I don't want to have ageism, but in my head, I'm like, at some point, yeah.
No, it's very true, because at my old job, it was me and this 76-year-old woman both working at the desk. And anytime her computer would crash or anything like that, she would ask me to help her with it, or if she didn't understand something, always asked me. She's like, you should work for IT. And I'm like, hell no, because I hate computers, but I have to learn it for work. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know the technology, as much as I hate technology. But it was always that thing, like, there's such an age gap between me and her that she will not learn new technology.
But you know what? It's so weird, because I know Andrea gonna be mad if she listens to this, but I don't think she listens to the show regularly. But I'm just saying, one of the things that bothers me about Alden and Andrea is they're both so resistant to social media. Like, Andrea she don't use social media at all. She don't, whatever. And I'm like, this is what's going to happen. Exactly what you're talking about is what's going to happen, because technology is what is the substance of what we're doing in the world right now. It is all about online. And actually, Hayden, who we're going to have on the show next week, his film festival, what am I calling it? The film festival that he does is online. So he has a software program, whatever. And Hollywood is having a really tough time with a lot of things because of streaming services or whatever. And look, we're having a show that people watch and it's online. You know what I mean? It's not like we're sitting at a television or going to a movie theater. Like, everything's moving this way. So I always get really nervous, but there's a weird kind of, I don't have to learn that shit. I don't do social media. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm not just saying it about Andrea, but
I get what you're saying. But think about it, during the pandemic, everybody had to learn how to use Zoom.
Yeah.
Because that's how you had your meetings. That's how you worked. So she had to learn that technology. And now she uses it. So you have to know the technology, anything new that's coming out.
But I think there's a resistance that happens. It's and I'm not just saying Andrea. Alden does the same thing. There's a weird kind of, I don't need, it's like it's below you. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. I look at Andrea's going fucking scream and yell at me. I just already know. It's not just, when I said Andrea, I meant another Andrea, not the one that's on the show. It's Andrea Smith. That's who it is, Andrea Smith. She's going to be so mad at me. But it is that same thing. It frustrates me because it's not that I care whether or not she uses social media or not. I'm just like, this is basic stuff we're talking about.
Just picturing her going, Carmen, the one time I listened to the broadcast.
I'm going to let her watch the part where you just made fun of how she talks. Which I
wasn't trying to really imitate her.
You need to get rid of that Rick, motherfucker. That's what she's going to say.
But, like, the expression that people use all the time, and I just go, why? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But I just go, why?
Right. Because the dog don't want to learn. That's all I'm hearing.
I don't know why. Like, why? If you had to, like the pandemic, like I almost said Linda, Cynthia said, I don't know where Linda came from. But yeah, if you had to, then guess what? All of a sudden you can. Wow. I don't know.
We were using Zoom way before that, but I guess more people had to learn how to use it. And Zoom's been a business device for a long time. But I hear what you're saying. I think for me too, I feel like when I think about my mom and what she missed out on, like even the simple things like a microwave, a VCR, like we didn't have all those things growing up. That would be so shocking. And I don't want to miss out on whatever's coming next. I think it's so fascinating. Everyone's afraid of AI. I learned something about AI the other day that did freak me out. Someone said AI is not a tool. And I can't remember what they were saying, but it really freaked me out. It made me see AI in a different light. So maybe we'll have a conversation about AI at some point in the future with somebody who's much more of an expert on it, because it taught me something I didn't think about before. But AI is the thing now that we're going to start dealing with, that we're already dealing with. And to not be aware of how that's going to affect us, I think that's what makes you old, is when you stop learning and you stop engaging. And I think it's a facade that you get older and then you stop learning. I think you should continue learning, continue trying to, it's not that hard. You just got to be in the know. Now, I don't know all of the young singers. I do not, because it's not my music. The Shake It Off song with the Taylor Swift, I really like Taylor Swift, who she is and how she presents herself, but I don't know her music. You know what I mean? But that song is a meme now. So Melanie says I don't like AI.
And now the new laptops, they're automatically shipping them with AI built in already. So it's like now you can't even avoid it.
So Lee, let me just tell you something. AI has been around for a long time. So that's the number one thing you should all know. Anytime that, it's just different kind of iterations of AI. You guys, AI, Siri is AI. What do you think Siri is? You know what I mean? When you guys are using that on your iPhone or whatever, or you're calling on Amazon, whatever the Amazon one is.
Oh, Alexa.
Alexa or whatever, all those things.
Everybody's Alexa just said, yes, how can I help you?
I clearly don't have Alexa, but
me neither.
I don't have the other one either. But it's all been iterations of it. Melanie just said, I think someone's spying on me with AI. So I don't want you to think like that.
If you have this, you are.
If you have a smartphone.
No, if you live in the United States and you have a home with windows, it's already happening. We have drones everywhere. We have satellites. But don't think about it as a negative thing, right? And I don't think anyone's spying on me specifically. Now, here are some things I would suggest. If you're going to change, close your drapes. You know what I mean? Don't, like my neighbors across the way, don't change with the drapes open. Take off your bra and everything all up in the wind and think none of us are going to see it. You know what I mean? There are things you can do, but AI has been around for a long time. We're calling it artificial intelligence now out loud. But computers have been around for a long time, and this is where we're going. And here's the good thing. I always say this to you, Rick. Star Trek, Next Generation. Everyone loves the show. Everyone loves that whole concept and idea. What do you think all of that is? Right. And if you want me to get you really freaked out, go see 2001, A Space Odyssey, which was a movie that came out by Stanley Kubrick in 1965, I believe, right? Way before we were born. Something 1965. And that was the whole thing, was how computers were taking over. HAL ends up taking over because it's a learning entity. It learns as it goes along, and it learns so much that it starts taking over the ship. That's 1965. So AI has been around for a long time. The concept, the idea, and even the processes. I think it's better to learn what's happening and understand it. That way you can feel more comfortable about it and understand how to protect yourself than to be afraid of it, Melanie. Just an idea, just a concept idea out there. Rick, what were you going to say?
I don't remember now.
Okay, great. Because I'm happy you offered it.
But I do remember, again, bringing up that movie,
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I'm like, there ain't no way this was made in the 1960s. Ain't no way. I'm like,
yeah, you're right. You watched it, right?
So I'm like, so if they could do that then, imagine what we could do now. And it's going to come to a point where I believe they're going to make TV shows and the entire thing's going to be AI, and we're not even going to know the difference.
That's already happening. That's already, I mean, that's why all of the unions are fighting. That's why Gavin Newsom here in California just signed something about artificial intelligence and the movie industry. There's a lot of things that are changing, but being afraid of it isn't the best way to, we can have fear if we take that fear and move it into a channel that is positive. And so use that energy to make sure that we understand what's going on, understand how it's going to affect us, and move through it so we get to the side. Because look, at the thing I love about humanity, I don't mean to be dorky, I'm being very serious, is I love that no matter what we learn, we want more. You know what I mean? Like the more we know, the more we want to know more. And that filters throughout all of us. Like the minute I accomplish making $15 an hour, now I want $20 an hour. You know what I mean? Like now I want $20 an hour. You know,
I think it's a human thing too, because like when you look at the Olympics, they're like, this record, nobody, that's the fastest human, but then somebody comes along, I'm gonna beat it, and then they ended up beating it. How? Because when you want it, man, you're gonna do whatever it takes.
And that's, I think, what's the best part about the human spirit is the ability to always be progressing forward. Now, I'm not saying it's always positive. I'm not saying it always turns out okay. We can think about the atom bomb and we can think about, right, Oppenheimer, the whole, you know what I mean? Like we can think about all the mistakes and bad things that we do, but we still try to progress, even if we take 10 steps backwards in the process. We always try to progress forward as human beings. Fear is a vile part of who we are as humans, but the thing I love about fear, whenever I feel it, is I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take that and I'm going to make myself courageous. I'm going to find a way to take fear and make it about courage now. And that's all about like fighting through that fear. So I refuse to be intimidated by artificial intelligence. I've told you before, I'm excited about it. I'm intrigued by it. I have this dreamy idea of Star Trek Next Generation sometime happening, you know what I mean? Where we live in a world where there's real equality and real substance and all these kind of things we see in the movies. But I also know that it's going to be a tough time learning it and getting through it. Like, it's not an easy thing. And I read a whole article today, which I already said, but we'll talk about it some other time when we have somebody who knows more about it than I do. But
if you never heard of ChatGPT, you might be old.
Or you might be someone who's not paying attention to artificial intelligence because you have other things going on in your life. So Rick just introduced you to ChatGPT. How do you say it? ChatGPT? .com. Just go there. Go check it out. But you don't even have to do that. You can, Google now has AI. You can also go on your Windows platform. It also has an AI source. I use it. I use this all the time. Copilot on MSN, on Microsoft. I use it all the time. What?
You can make beautiful pictures with it. Just describe what you want.
The pictures are gross. I think the pictures are, you can still tell artificial intelligence.
Yeah, but I'll be like, beach landscape with mountain in the back and like I'll say something like that. It's half decent.
Yeah,
I can't draw.
It's cool. Look, I use AI to help me with a lot of stuff, with editing, with doing the show notes, with it gives you a whole template. Like I use AI all day long. And here's the thing: I bet Melanie does too. She just doesn't realize it. Yeah, there's a lot of Rick said it. If you have a phone. Like you're probably using AI and you don't even realize it. So, yeah. Wow. What can you do now that you couldn't do when you were young? Or I'll reverse it. What could you do when you were young that you can't do now? I can't do a split anymore. And let me tell you, I'm trying. I used to be able to do a cartwheel and then land in a split. I used to be able to do a backflip, land in a split. You know what I mean? I don't think I can do a backflip. I'm scared to try. I can still do a cartwheel. I don't know about a backflip though. I need to do some ab work because my tummy's heavy now. I don't know. But I can't do a split. I wish I could say I could even get close, but
can't do a split anymore. I can't run anymore. I used to be able to just stand up and put your leg up. Can't do that anymore.
Oh, you mean put your leg straight up? Oh, I used to be able to do it.
No, not anymore.
Oh my God.
just raking back trying to take off my bra is a hassle, okay?
When I used to see Jean-Claude Van Damme do splits, I'm like, ouch.
Oh,
What?
Lord. Yeah. No. The thing is, I'm going to get there, though. I'm going to get there. I got to get back there. I don't need to do a backflip, but I still should be able to do a split. That shouldn't matter age-wise. That's about flexibility. I just haven't been working on it. It's so sad. Rick?
I remember when I was little.
What is your split game like?
We never did a split. When I was little, we used to have the playground and all that stuff. I was a little monkey, man. I was like climbing everything and da-da-da-da. Today, no. Can't do none of that. I ain't doing none of that.
I think one of the things that I do better today than when I was younger, I said it earlier, I handle situations so much better now. Yeah. Melanie just said, I see AI popping up on apps, try to get away from its input. Yeah, you can't. You're already using it. I understand the fear, but I want you to work through that fear, Melanie. Yeah, Google is, all of it is AI.
And they're keeping track of everything you type. Sorry.
Yeah, but stop. That's been happening all along. That's what
I'm saying.
Oh, okay. That's
what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Everything is already out in the web. If you use an ATM or a debit card at your ATM machine to get money out, they already have all your information on the internet. If you do any online banking at all your stuff is already on the internet. Mm-hmm. If you do anything with you just said earlier that you don't put in your birth date when you have to scroll. Your stuff is already on the internet. Mm-hmm. It's already out there. It's just how do you learn to protect yourself is really what we need to do. Okay,
sometimes Rick, I see videos.
What's your split game? You didn't.
No, I said I can't. I've never done a split. I can't do a split. Never. But what was I going to say? Now I lost it. That's okay.
Oh,
that's a problem right there. Memory.
Have you always had that though?
Not like today.
I keep cutting you off and changing the subject, so that's why you're getting confusion. Yeah, there are certain things I think that I believe are folk tales or lies that we've been told, but then people do it anyway. So older people fall and have to get their hips replaced. That's like a normal. That actually. It's been a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's no reason why old people have to fall and break their hip, right? Mm-hmm. People fall because they're not being careful. Mm-hmm. And then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like I really do believe that. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna have knee problems tomorrow. I'm gonna fall. You already know what's
gonna happen. Both of us like, I hate you guys. You jinxed me.
Y'all did this to me. There's another one that I think is a folk tale too. I don't remember what it was.
I do think if you move, you're less likely to get hurt. If you're sedentary and you never move at all, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
You got to keep moving. And that's the difference between, I think that's why these people live to 90 and 100. If you look at them, they're like, they don't sit down and do nothing and watch TV. They're moving. They're gardening. They're doing stuff.
And they're socializing with people. They're eating well, right? That doesn't mean, and they're having a glass of wine once in a while. What's that? The guy did this. I forgot what it was called. Oh, it is the Blue Zones. So the Blue Zones is this concept that in certain areas of the world, there are people that are centenarians. So they're 100 years plus. Mm-hmm. And this guy, I forget what his name is, but he investigated why these people lived such healthy lives. So it's not just that they're 100 years old. It's and older. It's that they're 100 years old and they're still they're with it. They got their minds. They're still out there. Rick said gardening. They're still doing stuff. They're praying. And there were all these kind of common things. And some of the places are like Sardinia, Italy, Loma Linda, California. Here is one of the places. Ikaria, Greece is another place. Okinawa, Japan. Nicoya, Costa Rica. I don't know how to say Nicoya, but I think it's Nicoya. Those are the places that are the blue zones. And the studies have been done, and a lot of it has to do with socialization is the big one. Like a lot of people belong to a church or they belong to a social group that they go to on a regular basis. Some people drink wine. They don't eat as much red meat as most. They still do, but they don't. They have a lot more plant-based stuff. And it's an interesting thing. So you can just go to bluezone.com and check it out. But yeah, I do think that we have been socialized to believe that getting older is bad. And everything is about decline as opposed to seeing what I think are the blessings, as we started this show, the blessings of being able to live as long as we have and enjoying that and being grateful for it, because so many people don't get that shot. I would love to be doing this show and we all in our hundreds.
Right?
Well, I think it would be 90, whatever.
I saw this video of people in Japan. It was a restaurant in Japan, and they purposely hired, it's all old people, all senior citizens.
Yeah.
And it's like a funny thing too, because they're like, now you might mess up your order, so don't get mad. Just laugh and be like, thank you. But they're like, they talk to the people working and they're like, oh, I love this. I feel useful again. Oh, it touched my heart. Wow.
Well, the thing is to feel useful all along, right? Like Miss Joyce, who is my favorite client's grandmother, who's 101. I asked her, I'm like, what's the secret? And she is not kidding. She's like, champagne and put a little bit of blueberries in it because it makes it healthy. So she has champagne every day. This is not a lie. She is not lying. So she has a glass of champagne every day and she puts a little blueberries in it to make it healthy. She says,
okay.
Or raspberries. So she's just so awesome, but she's with it. She got it. She don't live with no nurse or nothing. She got her own place. Don't get me wrong. I think having a certain amount of established wealth helps as well, right?
Yeah.
So there is that part of it too, that there might be some correlation between also being able, but these people in the blue zones are not wealthy people. The most important thing seems to be also connection, right? Partnerships and marriages and friendships and family and whatever.
Definitely.
So fascinating. Wow. Hey, this was a fun conversation. Rick, you just told me it's an hour. I thought we were like 20 minutes in. Okay, just one last question. Is there a time that you would prefer to be at than this moment in time? Do you look forward to being older, or do you wish you could? I know earlier you said like what your bodies felt like and your mind felt like, but do you wish you were a certain age now?
If I had to give up the wisdom that I have, no.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice answer. Yeah, I said it earlier. I need to see how the hell this ends. I am not kidding. You know what I mean? Like, just too much sweat and tears. I want to see it. I want to see the end game. So, hey, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. It's so exciting. Cynthia, as always, thank you. Rick, I adore you. Thank you for stopping by. Please remember a few things. Allaboutthejoy.com is where you can see where our podcast is. Please follow us on Apple and Spotify. We're also on YouTube. I'm shook by the whole YouTube thing. I'll talk about that at some other point, but check out the live streams there as well. Anyways, thank you everyone for stopping by. We'll see you again next week. And remember, it really is all about the joy. Bye, everyone. Thanks for stopping by All About the Joy. Be better and stay beautiful, folks. Have a sweet day.